Target for today, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Steelhead and browns. Spawning stream targets. Streams flowing into Lake Michigan in the state of Wisconsin area can draw heavy runs of the lake-dwelling trout and salmon. Some even rival the Pacific Northwest in number of fish. These streams in the Milwaukee area are best known for their outstanding steelhead fishing during the spring runs. The steelhead here do not grow as large as those on the Pacific coast, but 15 pounds is not unusual, and a 20 to 25 pounder can be harvested. The steelhead will run in spring and again in fall, but in the fall, no spawning occurs. Besides steelhead, these streams get good fall runs of coho salmon, Chinook salmon, brown trout, and even an occasional lake trout. And occasionally, brown trout will make non-spawning runs in the spring also, along with the steelhead run. Most trout and salmon species seek water temperatures from 50 degrees to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. This means they need waters fed by springs or cold snow and ice melt runoff. Lakes need to be deep, cold waters. Trout and salmon depend mainly on vision to detect danger, but they also have a well-developed sense of smell and an excellent lateral line sense. The sensitive lateral line is so fine-tuned as to pick up footsteps of a fisherman walking along the bank. In all, the trout and salmon species' defensive systems make stalking and catching one truly a skilled accomplishment. Their most vulnerable time to be caught is during their spawning cycle. For rainbow trout and their lake cousins, the steelhead, they spawn in the spring of the year. Their preferred spawning temperature is between 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Brown trout spawn in the fall, with spawning temperatures a little more critical, with only an approximate 4-degree range of 44 degrees to 48 degrees Fahrenheit. But as I mentioned before, occasionally they will also make a non-spawning run in the spring. As they prepare for spawning, a movement pattern develops. The female will seek out a site that has a clean gravel bottom, thus allowing the fishermen to site scout for these areas. The female will dig multiple sites called redds, where she will deposit her eggs. The male, usually the largest, most dominant in the area, will court the female. Both will lie next to each other in the redd, where the female will lay her eggs and the male will inseminate the eggs. After spawning, the female will cover the eggs with gravel. When all this activity is completed, both male and female will abandon the redd. Trout and salmon do not produce vast amounts of eggs. For instance, a larger rainbow and steelhead will deposit around 4,000 eggs, while a similar sized walleye will lay approximately 200,000 eggs. In this picture, the walleye eggs are on the right side and the steelhead is on the left. Note the size difference. It will take from 1 to 5 months for the steelhead eggs to hatch. After the hatch and the losing of the egg sac, they are slightly larger and now called pars. In the wild, it's at this point predation is a large problem, and fewer than 1% of the newly hatched fry known as par survive to 1 year in age. Note that in Wisconsin, DNR studies show that steelhead eggs don't successfully hatch on their own in Wisconsin waters. So they are collected and taken to hatcheries. They are then partially raised and stocked back into Lake Michigan tributaries as larger smolts, which then move downstream and into Lake Michigan. There it will take several years to reach their maturity. Many of the Wisconsin streams have a barrier a short distance upstream, which blocks upstream movement and concentrates the fish in smaller confined areas. Thus, anglers are upping their percentages to contact and catch these fish. But the fish are not feeding as aggressively as they would during other times of the year. You have to drift the bait close to them, often dozens of times, to tempt a strike. During the height of the runs, it has not been an uncommon sight for anglers to pack both sides of the streams in hopes of catching these fish. It's quite the sight when one bites and anglers try to clear their lines from the water so that the fortunate angler can play his fish. I, however, being retired now, can pick times that are less congested, thus avoiding the chaotic, frenzied shoreline stocked with anglers.
You can see we still got the ice cover here, just starting to crack up.
So I'm out early, monitoring the streams, watching for ice out, checking water temps, watching for warm rain, and water height and flow. Gathering this intel hopefully puts me ahead of most anglers, and I start out at the very beginning of the runs. I'll only have a short window of opportunity, as news of the run starting travels fast. Meanwhile, while I'm up here in Wisconsin monitoring conditions for the start of the Steelhead run, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law are enjoying the warm Florida weather. Or are they? Shoot 'em! Even though I'm retired, I do have one constraint, and that occurs when fishing with my grandkids. We go out during their spring break or their time off school. Then we don't have to compete with the weekend crowds. Sometimes the timing is a little early and the fish are sparse, but time outdoors with family is a precious commodity, especially with your grandkids. And I'll take that companionship anytime, any place. After all, it's the experiences of God's great creations, being outdoors with family and teaching them to be good sportsmen and conservationists. Now that's what really counts. Catching a fish is secondary. With that being said, let's join Wes, Mikayla, and myself out on the stream for our one and only day this season of chasing steelhead and browns.
So Wes is working here. There's a couple of fish out here he spotted where he's been working them. Mikayla's got a fish targeted up there. She came close a couple of times. She can't get it to go either. So we'll spend some time here. So Mikayla moved downstream a little bit. So you came close quite a few times, didn't you?
Yeah. Like 4 to 7 times.
Just couldn't hook up with that fish. So Wes is up there trying for it now. He's giving it a shot. They switch positions. He's going to see if he can tag that fish. Mikayla, where do you think you should cast? It came right past you?
Yes, it scared me. It was like right there. It scared me.
I didn't get the camera on in time, but I saw the splash. I saw the splash and I didn't get down here in time.
There was a fish, there was like a sucker fish right there, and it just started zooming past me, and I was standing like right here, and it came right to my feet. It scared me so much.
I saw it splashing past her, but by the time I got the camera on, it was done. All right, let's go get Wes. Let's move down and we'll work our way up. So it's Monday, April 22nd, I believe. The kids have an extra day off. Yesterday was Easter. Their spring break was about a month ago, just before the Steelhead run started here in southeastern Wisconsin. And in fact, where I'm standing now, where the kids are fishing, was completely underwater with the amount of snow and rain we had. That was heavy. And right after that subsided, the steelhead fishing exploded. Unfortunately, they were back in school. So we're out here. They got this extra day off. We're on the tail end of the steelhead now. And there's still some fish upstream here. They've contacted a couple you saw a little bit before upstream, and we're unable to get them to go. But like I said, any time is a good time to get your kids, grandkids, their friends out into the great outdoors. You make those memories, you don't regret them. Hopefully we can still contact another fish yet today before we call it. So Wes had an interesting encounter. He went down around the bend down here. So what happened?
So a guy was fishing over there, and there was four trout. Two were smaller and two were like the size of Mikayla. And
really? The size of Mikayla?
no, they were. They're
A
huge.
true trout fisherman. How big was he? The size of Mikayla. All right, go ahead.
And sure enough, they come out, and one hits it. I miss the hookup, and then he goes after it again, and then the fish misses it. So 2 opportunities down the drain, or down the river, I should say.
So we're gonna walk our way out. We're gonna work our way down there and work our way upstream. So we even got beaver gnawing down here. Right there. He gnawed down these trees a while ago. That's kind of old. But you saw last year the beaver down by the lake. So they're coming upstream too. So, all right, we're heading our way down. Okay, we got some fish marked here. There they are. So Wes is going to try working these. I might haul Mikayla up here too. Okay, let's get you down there. One's 12 o'clock from you, just swam out. He's probably 11 or 10 o'clock from you right now. Now you're snagged. Try to keep it up over that other branch if you can. There's nothing back there. Don't let it go back that far next time. Go around this. Go all the way around to go in and get it. There's some big trout in there. Some nice steelhead. He spooked one as he was trying to get that out. There's nothing in the stream there, so you're not going to spook anything. They're up in that next pool already.
So while Wes was getting untangled and resetting up to try for those steelhead in the bend of the stream, Mikayla and I moved a little further upstream, but we had the same results. We saw fish, we drifted baits right by those fish, but no hookups. And to add insult, the fish would feed on the surface right in front of us.
So I started gradually sinking. I sunk all the way up to my knees, and I did not know. So I try and pull out, and I fall, and doing that I get snagged. And there's even more clay. I sink down up to here in clay. I'm stuck. So I'm like crawling out
You know what? You did a good job getting out of a conundrum. Gentleman's helping Mike, or helping Wes. That's kind of cool. He found the fish for him. He's helping Wes out. That's pretty cool.
I have the same thing wrong what Wes had last year.
What?
There's a duck.
Well, keep fishing.
There's a duck in the way.
Keep fishing. There they go. They're over here now.
Here you go, bud.
Yeah.
Came up again.
I caught another egg. An egg got stuck.
Got him? That's what always happens.
Well, I guess Wes had one on and lost it, and then got snagged after it shook off. So he just went out to get it.
Cast right up here. See where my bobber is? There's a rock right here. Cast in front of that and just gently keep your line tight. There's a lot of fish in this hole right here. There's a rock right where my bobber is. That's fine. There's 3 rocks right here. 1, 2, 3, and then right here in the hole. There's a bunch of fish in there.
He's telling them where to fish. Got a lot of fish in a hole right there. He's helping the kids out. That's pretty nice. That's a good fisherman.
Some suckers. Some trout, man.
They're working hard. You saw fish. Wes had a pretty good experience at some big fish today. Mikayla had a couple of hits. She got excited. We just can't keep them on the line. Now Wes moves up on top there. He's fishing that hole where all those fish are. The guy had a couple of fish on. Wes had a fish on. I think they had, between the two of them, they had 3 fish on. That guy had 2 on and lost, and Wes had 1 on and lost. But there's a hole right there. We've got action, but we're not connecting.
Well, enough watching and helping out. It's time for me to join the group and start pitching bait for some steelhead. It didn't take long, and I was left alone. Wes and Mikayla moved upstream. I, however, was determined to hook this fish I had been working for what seemed like an hour. But the only success I had was to get snagged in some down timber and spook a duck out of that area. And soon, this stretch of the stream had no human presence, and the steelhead took back control.
Well, we got some fish right here, we just can't get them to go.
Wes!
What's the matter? Snag? So, Mikayla snagged. She cast a little bit too far, so Big Brother's going in to help out. Like I said, we've had some good action today. We just can't hook up. He sees the fish, he walked right up on it. There's a big one right here. Okay, we got about 15 minutes left. You gotta go, Wes.
Well, our day on the stream ends without us walking out with any steelhead. That's not to say we didn't mark any fish or have any action, because we had plenty of both. But the steelhead we encountered must have had steel jaws that our hooks couldn't hold. In all, it was a great day spent with my grandkids on the trout stream. We didn't walk away with any fish, but we have a creel and a net full of family outdoor memories. And in our book, that's enough. Sometimes the outdoors is good enough just by being there.
Hi. Well, that's it for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please go ahead and hit the like button. Then, if you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. This way you'll be notified of each new video. As I release them, you won't have to keep checking back to see if there's a new video out there. Also, I'm trying to drive that subscription rate out there. Give me a hand. Let's get that thing up there. You can comment below. If you feel free to drop a line on anything, any suggestions, comments about the video, I appreciate it. I always appreciate hearing from you. Or if you don't want to comment below, you can reach us at rapintoutdoors360@gmail.com. I truly enjoy hearing from everybody, and as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. We'll be in the woods or water someplace. See you then.